I paid $12.99 for it. I don't know what it is. So I started over in Halloween because there was an awkward pile of people in the hard goods section that I was trying to avoid. If I'm not in the mood for Halloween, I don't usually find very much. I kind of have to be like in the groove for it. I do always kind of keep an eye out for the glass pumpkins, especially Luke Adams pumpkin of the day. Some of those can go for a couple bucks, and I'm just kind of learning about them now. I saw this canister up on the shelf, which looked pretty sturdy and like it still, had a life in it. It said Highland Pottery on the bottom, which I'm familiar with, and it was only $5.99, so I did grab that and I put it in the cart. And then headed on down the back wall. I've found some treasures along this back wall of this thrift store, but today there really wasn't very much to go through. That had actually been sitting there for a while. It's got some flowers on top that are busted. That unicorn is really cute. Thought that was something special, but it was cracked. So we left that behind and carried on. Headed over to glassware. I love like 50s, 60s, 70s barware and glassware, so I'm always looking out for that stuff. But there was a lot of basic clear stemware today, though I did find these. They are heavy. They are hand blown. They have a controlled bubble in the bottom. I hadn't seen them before, so I was thinking about grabbing them. Continued looking down the shelf, and saw these. Thought they might be something, but when I picked them up, they were this very lightweight. It felt like plastic and glass at the same time. It was weird. Checked the vases. It was mostly like FTD kind of stuff, your basic everyday things, nothing special there. No Italian pottery or fancy blown glass stuff. I do like some of the vintage Teleflora, or I should say vintage FTD. Some of their stuff from the 70s is kind of fun. Looked over at this picture. This is by Coco, if I'm pronouncing it right. I just like the shape of it. I was nervous it was missing a chrome band, so I left it. This I thought for a second was black glass, and then I realized it's one of those records turned into a bowl. Fool me again. I saw this. It looked lightweight. The second I touched it, I was like, okay, we're done. So we moved on from that. And then I swung around to the dishes. Again, it was pretty sparse, but I try to keep my eyes peeled for Festoria American, that cubist pattern by Festoria. Some of the pieces are worth a couple bucks. There's like a square tray. The decanter with stopper is worth a couple bucks. So I always keep my eye out, and obviously Waterford. I saw this. This is by Holland Mold, but the decoration on it was so pretty. I was like kind of confused. It's not the typical, detail I see on a hobbyist piece. So I wasn't really sure, and I don't know. I backed off from it. But it was only $2.99, and I kind of wish I grabbed it. This looked pretty. I picked it up. I realized it was kind of more of a contemporary piece, had a bunch of chips on it, so I did leave that behind. I did kind of keep my eyes peeled for depression glass and uranium glass. I do like collecting and selling those. I found a piece of yellow depression glass here that I hadn't seen before, so I grabbed it to look up. This is over in that kind of like where you would find punch bowls and butter dishes and ashtrays and random teacup and saucers. Again, there wasn't really much here. Single pieces, no colored glass, no, nothing really of substance here. So I found this. This was cute. It kind of intrigued me at first. I turned it over, no marking on the back. They only wanted $3, and the glaze was cool, but it had a chip on it. So I'm trying to be a little better about not grabbing stuff with chips. I mean, I sell stuff with chips all the time, but I'm trying to be a little bit better about it. This is over in the Christmas section. The line was really long, so I figured I'd take a peek over here. That looked cute. It's by Lacoste. It's their gingerbread collection. I left it behind, but it was cute. This was the largest Santa plate I've ever seen. It looked like it weighed 40 pounds. It was bigger than my torso. And then there really wasn't very much else in Christmas. I told myself to slow down because I have found some cool things tucked into Christmas. I have found art glass. I have found depression glass. I found orange depression glass once hidden in the Halloween section. So, but nothing that I grabbed for Christmas related stuff that day. So I kept walking around waiting for the line to die, and then I came across this thing, and I was like, I have no idea what this is. but it's weird and it's going to bother me if I leave it behind. I checked out that ice bucket next to it. It's like a faux black alligator. It's kind of cool. But I wound up grabbing this and put it in the cart so I could take it home and research it, since I really wasn't getting much that day. I had room in the budget. I ran back and grabbed these. I'd already put the tumblers in my cart to try and look up quick while I was walking around, but I didn't find anything. But based on their weight and that bubble in the bottom, I figured, let's just take them. And then this thing, the handles on this, I am almost positive are out of an 83 Lincoln Continental. I'm like, I promise, $50 for that, but I didn't get it. The art section is usually packed with stuff, and there was nothing there. There was this beauty that I named Ambition. It's just a bunch of moss on a canvas. It was fun to touch, though. I grabbed this. I'm a sucker for black and white animals. I'm not a huge fan of needlepoint, but this was super cute. So we're back. As you guys saw, there wasn't really very much there. I got 4 things that day. So here's what I got. This canister is Highland pottery. I just sold a piece of theirs the other day, so I decided let's do a little more Highland pottery. But it's a nice size canister. I paid $5.99 for it, and it would have had a lid originally, but I still think it's got a purpose even without it. It's pretty standard size lid, so I don't even know if like another jar lid might fit that. I grabbed the green glasses. There were 2 of these. When I got to register, I realized the rim on one was chipped. I still took this one anyway just to help with identification in case I couldn't figure it out off the tumblers. But they do have a controlled bubble in the bottom. I thought they might be black crystal. I did a quick search. I haven't confirmed that yet. And there's no mark on the bottom. So, but they are blown, and you can see that, nice size bubble in there. The other thing I grabbed was this, and I paid $12.99 for it. I don't know what it is. It's like 2 glass tiles fused together, and it kind of looked like a wall pocket, but there's, it can't obviously sit on a wall, and there's no way for it to stand on its own, so I don't know if I'm missing something here, but I also thought it could be like a gift shop piece from an art exhibit at a museum. So I didn't want to pass it up in case it was related to an artist. I did think of George Braid, but I don't have a solid identification on it yet. Since I wasn't finding too much, I decided to grab this. I did grab the yellow depression plate you saw me pick up. I saw a lot of it listed on eBay, and they did have good prices on them. I would have made a couple bucks, but there was none sold. There were a lot listed. It turns out it was the horseshoe pattern, yellow horseshoe by Indiana Glass. And I hadn't seen it before, but once I ID'd it and looked it up, I decided to leave that behind. The other thing I grabbed, you saw over by the pictures and framed art. This just looked really cute, and I know some people have a spot in their heart for this needlepoint stuff. I do too. But this guy was just sitting there, and I was like, $2.99, we're going to take him. So that was all I got. The glasses, the canister, that weird piece of art glass, and this guy. So since it's kind of a short video, I figured what I would do real quick is just tell you about myself. Again, my name is Liz. Store on eBay called Yesterday's Braid. I've done eBay reselling off and on kind of since the beginning of eBay. I've done Pyrex and vintage clothing and furniture and stuff like that. I started again this time because I'm actually a real estate agent full-time. That's supposed to be my full-time job. But the market isn't great. And I work in rural upstate New York, and I have a pretty vast territory that takes me through a lot of little villages, past thrift stores and antique stores. And I peeked into one day to get some stuff for staging and kind of had the epiphany like, well, if the market's quieting down, why don't I start reselling again? There's so much wonderful stuff up here to go treasure hunting for. So here we are. My husband is Steve. I have a son named Atticus. Steve and I are both from Long Island. We moved up here in 2009. We still have family down there, so some of my thrifting videos will actually take place down on Long Island. We'll go thrifting with my mom and my sister, and that'll be fun too. So, and right now we are actually out in my barn. It's a little chilly, but I do like the lighting out here. I do a lot of photography out here, and my horse is, my horse is here. I'll introduce you guys to her, and that is pretty much it. So yeah, next video is going to be about packing up that Blanco bottle that was in my first video. Somebody had requested that I do that, so I'm putting that together next, and should be up in a couple days. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.